Hello, Bristol. My name is Karen.
Hello.
And sometimes I like to speak to the manager. Strap in, Bristol, strap in, because I'm about to attempt the triple axel of comedy. Relationships, politics, and dating. Now, you know how they say that comedy is tragedy plus time? Well, that just isn't true. Because when I was 4, I lost an eye. And then last year, I got cancer. And now my son isn't speaking to me. And I'm still waiting for the laughs. But honestly, the thing with my son is really hurting me because I raised that child from the larval stages as a single parent. And he won't answer my calls, he won't respond to text messages, and I'm like, I need to fix this situation, I'm gonna write a book. I'm gonna write a book called To My Son, and it was going to be filled with elegant prose, full of wisdom and love and hope, the kind of book that would take its place amongst the great books of our literary tradition, with your Steinbecks and your Tolkiens and your Twains, Mark, not Shania. So I fired up a blank Word document, and I felt inspiration coursing through my veins. And I saw the words appear on the screen in front of me, and they said, "Hey, fuckface." And I thought, that's not inspiration. It's rage and regret and probably too many spiced rums. You'll be happy to know, Bristol, that I'm very happily married now to one of your pale-skinned local boys from a country called Scotland. This next bit is true. The first time I visited his flat in Glasgow, I had to step over an inflatable rubber boat in his hallway. And I thought to myself, this is a brand new take on the small boats problem. And I'm the immigrant in this relationship. But the more I thought about it, the more it made sense. Because I think that in the Westminster settlement, every Scottish person gets a small boat. And when they get their independence, they will sail across the North Sea and rejoin Europe. Now, before I met, or rather reverse colonized my Rob Roy, I was on the dating scene for many, many years. I went on so many dates. Now, I know dating is well-explored territory in comedy, and its fertile fields have been well plowed, unlike most people on dating apps. but bear with me, Bristol, because there's always that one date that sticks in your head, right? And here's mine. I met a nice, normal man on Bumble, and he was very funny, he made me laugh, his photos were good, he had no vowels in his first name, and I had noticed that he hadn't smiled at all. Anyway, he lived far away from Bristol, so the date was arranged for a few weeks' time, and eventually the big day arrived, and he got to Bristol early, and had sung 4 or 5 pints before I even got there, to the restaurant 15 minutes late. And as I approached the table at the back, he stood up, and he smiled. And oh my God, Bristol, this man was very seriously dentally challenged. It was like his teeth had catfished me. The whole mouth area. It was like downtown Gaza. But less organized. What, too soon? He tapped his watch, and he looked at me and he said, "What time do you call this, huh?" And I had to suppress every urge not to answer, 2:30? I sat down, I ordered a large G&T, and Team Steve Buscemi ordered the pork belly with extra crispy pork crackling for his dinner. Now, over 100 years ago, a famous philosopher called Friedrich Nietzsche wrote, "When you stare into the abyss stares back at you." Now, Bristol, for 45 minutes, I stared into that wisecracking, masticating, punning abyss while it threw bits of pork crackling at my face. And I had to suppress every urge not to yell incoming and dive under the table. Can you imagine if Stonehenge got divorced, let itself go, and took me out on a date? This guy, he was the poster boy of the 1976 edition of the Great Big Book of British Smiles. And I can only imagine, Bristol, that his tooth fairy must have been referred to occupational health. I imagined her in this therapy suite, like huddled into a great big armchair, while the therapist said, "Well, what was it like in that environment?" And the tooth fairy, her once gilded wings dulled by PTSD, takes a drag on her cigarette, and she says, "I've seen cavities, man. I've seen bad teeth. But this was different." Anyway, I got through that dinner, and because I'm nice, and he made me laugh, we stayed friends. I just need some water. And a few weeks later, he came to my house for a dinner party because I got a new job, and it was a fairly big role in a large public sector organization. And at this dinner party, he got very, very drunk indeed, and he told all my guests that I got the job because of the color of my skin. And I thought, nah. Austin Powers, the spy who never shagged me, had to go. So I marched him to my front door, instructed him to open wide, and booted him out into the street. And as he lurched down the street into the darkness, crying into that sarlacc pit of a mouth, I did not suppress the urge to yell, "Mind the gap, motherfucker." Now, Bristol, tonight I'm raising money for tiny, broken kittens. And I know, Bristol, that your friends have already tapped you up for some bank. But fuck them. They did not spend last night taping QR codes to little individually wrapped after dinner mints. So if you have one, please connect to us. And I just want to tell you that if you haven't laughed at any of my jokes, then a tiny kitten has died, and that's all.